How to grow $1 million cleaning business is what we are going to be talking about today, and how Alex, a local cleaning service business owner, was able to increase the size of his cleaning business by $300,000 in a single year. Hello, and welcome to the Local Cleaning Legends podcast. In this podcast, we interview experts and successful local business owners in the home service industry space. I'm your host. My name is Jordan Richards. I have generated millions of dollars of additional revenue for local home service businesses through the use of digital marketing. I'm super excited to have Alex, the owner of Spartan Power Washing, on our show with us today. And like I mentioned before, Alex was able to increase the size of his cleaning business by $300,000 in a single year. So Alex, thank you so much for coming on our show today. I would love to just start off by learning more about Alex. When you were little, 5 years old, did you always say, when I grow up, I dream of building $1 million cleaning business? How did you get from 5 years old to owning this business?
That's a good one. I was actually born and raised in my family's automotive service center, transitioned in my family's shop from lube tech to certified technician, manager of the office, and then to the point where my family, being my father, who was the owner, we had 3 service centers, actually decided to let me run all 3 of them. And then at that point, I kind of even outgrew my needs for working with the family. And then I became a senior advisor for Mercedes-Benz corporate. And I was basically that prick who went around training service advisors and service managers how to turn a $300 oil change into a $3,000 ticket. Grew, developed my sales technique, my customer service experience with high-end customers. And actually, the whole entire power washing industry was a fluke chance coming from owning multiple rental properties. One day, went to Home Depot, rented a power washer. The neighborhood didn't even know that I was the landlord or the owner of the home. So I was cleaning the home one day, and while I was there cleaning my own property, I actually got a tap on my shoulder from 3 separate homeowners throwing me dollars like, listen, stop at my house next. I'll pay you $125. And if you do my driveway, I'll pay you $90. And it was a fluke. And then it transitioned to me like, all right, let me take a quick look at this. And I'm sure most of the guests know John Lang. He was like kind of an originator, one of the guys we were watching on YouTube. Started watching some of his videos, how he was growing. Then actually one day I had an opportunity to step back from the corporate world. My real estate was doing well. My wife was working full time. So I decided, to give this a try. Basically no dreams and ambitions on running a power washing company. My wife thought that I had lost my mind. I left a 6-figure corporate position, company vehicle, company gas card, company cell phones. I got to travel all over the US with Mercedes-Benz corporate. And then all of a sudden now I'm holding a Home Depot power washer. When I left Mercedes, I only had this little beater Subaru Legacy wagon that was leaking gas in my driveway. But every morning, 6:30, down to Home Depot, signed my waiver, grabbed the equipment. The only thing that I owned was a downstream injector. And then that was it. I was out there pulling the power washer, 100 feet of line over my arm, bottle of bleach in the other hand, trooping it through people's yards and just working on my craft. I knew customers, I knew sales, I didn't know a thing about power washing. And at the end, then I was able to grow it to where it is now through some dips and dives, but it was all trial and error, and there was never any plan for this.
That's awesome. That's such a cool story. I love how you said you're coming from like a sales background. I'm sure that's helped you tremendously. I
This
talk to a lot of business owners. A lot of people, when they go into business, they're really good at a skill and then they learn sales down the road. But you're kind of doing the opposite where you knew sales and then you learn the skill down the road. I know so many people who have such a great service, but they have no idea how to sell it. And so therefore they're not as successful as they can be. So as like you said, as a business owner, I'm sure that contributed to your $300,000 jump in that single year. That sales is so important. One other tip I would give anyone listening is make sure whoever's answering your phone, if you've grown to a size where you're not the one as the business owner answering the phone, booking jobs and stuff, make sure the person answering the phone isn't just a secretary. or isn't just like an appointment setter. You need to make sure that person is just as much as a salesman as anyone else, because exactly how you said, Alex, somebody comes in for like a really cheap oil change, you have other services that you can offer them that turns that single client into worth way more money. And if you can get recurring jobs, that's upsells. If you can sell them other services, that upsell. Because typically, from a marketing standpoint, the cost per lead's pretty consistent across services. If you're just working one industry, your cost per lead's pretty consistent. But if you can make that lead worth more money into your pocket, you can have 10 people on your cheapest package, or you can upsell one person the full shebang, and now you just made your ROI. You spent 10 times less to get that one lead, but you're making just as much. So I love how you came from a sales background. That's really cool.
If I were to put anything for anybody listening, is to start to sell, you have to sell yourself. Coming from the auto industry, and especially in the highline vehicles, when you're dealing with this particular clientele, a service, somebody is addressing you and looking for service, I always found it best practice to understand they're looking for your trust. Foremost, the best practice is sell yourself. Honesty, trustworthiness, sell your strong points. You don't have to coming out the gate knowing ABC always be closing. You should always be building that rapport, building that trust. Don't slam them over the head on the first visit. Get the introduction, pet their dog, wave at their kid in the window, give them a little splash with the water. Sell yourself first. Then that way, once you have that rapport, it becomes so easy. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, your roof is due. You know what? I'm going to hold off on taking care of it today. I'm going to let the girls in the office know to give you a call, maybe towards middle of summer, and we'll get you on the books for that roof cleaning. I've never once ever heard somebody tell me no, because I'm not hitting them today, but they're already on my schedule. So, and then at that point, what I've also come to find out is they don't hesitate the price either. Oh, my guy Alex says we're due for a roof cleaning and it's so and so dollars. He's going to get it taken care of, so it's sell yourself, and then the service will sell itself.
I love that. I love how, like you just said, you were washing their windows and now you're washing their roof down the road. I'm sure you get a million calls, Alex, of people just looking for a one-off service, and I'm willing to bet if you're able to get them on like a more of a recurring thing, that's worth a lot more to you. Is that right?
Yeah, where I receive a good amount of leads, even for the size of my company, no job is too small. And I'll get customers who are like, hey, listen, all I need is my walkway to my pool landing. Not a problem, ma'am, sir. Let me take a look at it. That's all right, yeah, for this. While I'm here, I could freshen up that pool landing for you. I could take care of that deck cleaning for you. They always start with that one off because their guard is up. They see something that they know that they can't or don't want to do. But once you come there and you break that, you came, you picked up your phone, you came on time, you presented yourself well, you're clean, you're uniformed, you look professional, and then I give them a price. Yeah, I can take care of this walkway. Not a big deal. I'd be $89, which is significantly lower than my minimum out rate. While I'm here, if you like, I could take a look at that deck. I could take a look at your gutters. I could take a look at your house wash. They never just get one thing. They just are so guarded that you're going to come in there and try to bang them over the head and give them astronomical prices.
So it sounds like you have like that loss leader, but
Yeah.
it sounds like you know your numbers so well that you're able to confidently go into these situations with that loss leader, knowing you'll come out profitable.
If you do not know your numbers in service, in anything where your overhead, your costs, if you do not know your numbers, stop while you're ahead. Just stop, go back to corporate, collect your check. If you're doing this, you don't know your day-to-day numbers, you can go ahead and stop.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people who know their numbers inside and out, and their business grows faster. They're a lot less stressed. They just know what levers to pull as the business owner in their business.